Thanks for joining us at Right On Replicas, where we bring you the best scale model kit reviews on the planet. This review covers a re-release of the Revell of Germany kit in USA boxing. It's the 918 Porsche Spyder, a mid-engine hybrid sports car with 3 total motors with a combined output of 887 horsepower and a top speed of over 200 miles an hour. Now, this is kit number 85-4329, and the model is in 1/24 scale. It's a skill level 5 kit for advanced builders, and it contains 138 parts molded in white, chrome, clear, and vinyl tires. You get a highly detailed motor that builds up in steps, and the interior is equally detailed, and there are decals for all of the details. The body's crisply molded, and the lines look good. The chassis is a flat pan, and the tires are nice quality, and the detail is good. The decal sheet is very extensive with a lot of small details, and the instructions are your typical book format. Overall dimensions are approximately 7.5 inches in length, 3 3/8 inches wide, and 1 7/8 inches high. Here are the decals for this kit. As you can see, they're very colorful, and the registry is good. I strongly recommend using some decal setting solution to make it fit those contours, but as always, use the manufacturer's safety and use guidelines when using any of the products mentioned here in the review for your own protection. For most of the construction, I use Model Master liquid cement and sometimes a slow setting tube glue, but other adhesives are used too for strength like super glue and white glue for clear parts. Mostly the paints are Tamiya acrylic bottle paints that are shot through an airbrush, or rattle can paints that can be used for things like primers. We'll assemble the motor first, but most of it does not show after construction is done. However, we're going to assemble the block halves, valley cover, transaxle end, the motor's front, and the exhaust manifolds. Then assemble the exhaust plenum and the intake manifold. And now we can paint the motor, exhaust, and the intake plenums aluminum. The valve covers are flat black, and the intake manifolds are gunmetal. Then detail the mufflers on the exhaust plenum steel color. Add the valve covers, the intake manifolds, the intake plenum, and the exhaust plenum to the motor. I painted the chassis pan a blue-gray with the A-arms aluminum on the front and rear. The axles are black, and the spindles are steel colored. The suspension frame is flat black with aluminum suspension, and now install the motor. Add the axles and the spindles, and then install the suspension frame. Now we'll finish the rear motor and suspension. The motor frame is flat black with aluminum tanks on the top, and the shocks are steel and red. The wheel wells are flat black. Now install the frame in place and add the chrome exhaust tips. Then install the shocks and add the wheel wells. Grab these parts to assemble the front motor and suspension. Assemble the halves and the end and add the axles. And this is painted aluminum with flat black CV joints. The tie rod is flat black, and the spindles are aluminum. The frame is flat black and aluminum, and the struts are gold with silver and red springs. Install the front motor, then add the tie rod to the spindles without glue and the spindles without glue to the chassis A-arms. Then install the frame, and don't glue the spindles in, then add the struts. Now get out these parts to finish up the front chassis and paint the wheel wells flat black. The cooling system is assembled and painted aluminum, and the vents are flat black with steel grills. Now install the cooling system in the wheel wells, assemble and add the vents into place. Note that the brakes have larger discs on the front than the back. Now attach the hubs into place in the back of the brakes and paint the discs aluminum. The calipers are yellow. Add the decals in place and install the discs with the calipers to the inside of the car. Now the larger set goes on the front. The wheel rims are smaller on the front than the rear. The tires are also directional, so they can only be installed on the rims one way so that the location on the car is correct. Now paint the inside and face of the rims flat black. Once that's dry, use a Q-tip and buff the paint off the edge of the rim to expose some chrome on just the edges. Now cut the knobs from the insides of the tires. To give the tires a road look, you could also roll the tread on some fine sandpaper. Then insert the rims into the tires. Now glue each of the wheel assemblies into place on each spindle. Now you have a rolling chassis to work with, and you can begin work on the interior of the car. Grab these parts, as the interior is done in multiple steps. Start with the tub and the seats, and paint the tub flat black with gray floor mats and aluminum console panels. The decals 36 go on to the console's edges, and paint the seats black with gray inserts. The decals 33 and 42 go on the headrests. Now the pedals are silver and black. The back wall is top is flat black with some gray. Now install the wall top, add the seats and the pedals. Gather the parts for the dashboard and assemble the wheel and the column. Paint that and the dash a satin black color and the instrument pod flat black. Decals 38, 43, and 49 are the silver dash trim, and the decals 34 and 5 are the info screen. Decals 39, 40, and 41 are for the instrument pod, and 44, 45, 46, 47, and 48 are for the steering wheel. Install the pod and the column to the dash, and then the dash is installed into the tub. Assemble the door panel and the armrests and paint those units flat black. The console armrest is black and the center controls are aluminum and black. Now paint the details on the panels gray and add decals 13, 30, 31, and 32 to the left and decals 14 and 29 to the right. Add the handles, and on the center console add decals 50 and 51. Install the center console from the dash between the seats and add the armrests. Now install the door panels. Now you have a fully functional and completed interior for your build. The body comes in multiple parts, but the best way to paint a car body is to do it as a whole unit. Now you can do it in different ways, and in this case I decided to try and test fit by taping the parts together to see if afterwards I could still get the chassis into the body. And as luck would have it, it works out. So we're going to put this one all together and then paint it. With all the parts gathered, assemble the rear spoiler and the rear bumper. Now the side vents and the mirrors are added and the front bumper is installed. I decided I wanted the roof on this car to be permanent, so I attached it at this time also. Now wet sand the body with some fine grit sandpaper, at least a 600 grit, then rinse it clean, let it dry. Use a good quality primer to coat the inside and outside of the body, then wet sand it again, rinse and let it dry. I wanted something different, so I used some Gravity Colors hobby paint number GC228, which is Synergy Green. Now first I painted the base coat and then a clear coat. It's an airbrush paint, but you can use anything that you like to. Make sure that the paint is compatible with the primer, however. Once the paint has cured, you can apply the body decals. I recommend some setting solution, but most of these are not very large, so they go on pretty easily. But make sure that they conform and stick, and use plenty of warm water when applying your decals. Get the interior pieces out and paint the interior visor flat black. Side vents are flat black, the exhaust ports are flat black with aluminum, and the gas cover is aluminum, and decal the rear deck, clear cover and gas cover, and the gas cap on the car. Use some clear part cement or white glue to install the visor and the glass into the back of the car. Then next install the side vents, install the interior tub last, and insert the gas cover and glue the hinge plate into place. Now install the exhaust ports, deck cover, and the gas lid cover. Now add the chrome insert. Now get the headlight bezels and lights out. Now paint the inner area of the bezel flat black and the headlight tips are white. Now install the headlight tips and install the bezels into place. Now get the grille and the tag plate and paint those flat black. Then install the grills from the inside of the car, add the lens covers from the outside, and then add the license plate and the decal of the plate that you choose. Now add some glue to the contact points and install the chassis into the body. Now glue the body flush to the edges of the chassis for the floor pan. I wanted to personalize the vehicle, so I printed out a copy of my logo for license plates, and then using a color inkjet printer, and then I put a piece of glossy clear tape over it, and then cut them out and trimmed them to fit, and glued it onto the license plate tag for the rear later on with some white glue. Get out these parts and paint the rear lower spoiler black with a silver light. Then add the light cover. The tag plate is flat black and installed, and then the tag is added. The lenses are stoplight red with silver in the center, and install the lenses in place. Now gather these parts. I like to dip my window glass into Pledge Floor Care and let it wick off and then dry because it gives it a much crisper, cleaner look. Now we can finish up construction by installing the mirror faces, and then install the emblems on the pillars. Paint the frosted area on the windshield flat black on the inside. Sharpie marker works real well there. And then assemble and paint the rear view mirror black with a silver face. Now install the rear view mirror onto the windshield and the windshield into the car using some white glue or clear part cement. I didn't use the door glass though because I wanted the interior of my car to be seen more easily. There's just a few decals and some parts left over from construction that aren't used. And there you have it. This is a stunning car in real life and a great looking build for your shelf. The details are crisp, the overall fit and finish are great. The motor has quite a bit of details, but most of it isn't even seen after assembly. Now the other model companies might have done a different basic setup for that, but Revell of Germany did a good job, and of course the US boxing makes it available for us. Now painting prior to that for the motor makes it look even that much better, but this was a great build. The parts all fit together easily and correctly. Overall assembly was smooth. I was expecting more of a challenge because of the body design, but it was well designed and laid out, so it's actually easier to construct than the skill level 5 suggests. I think even a moderate builder should have no problems putting this together and putting it on the shelf with a lot of pride. We hope you liked this premium quality step-by-step review, and so that you don't miss any more, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, but you can find us on Facebook and also at our website www.rightonreplicas.com. Thanks!